money.
Oh wow, that's interesting. Now, what about the enhancement of a lot of people drinking the sugary drinks, whether it's coffee or beverages? Like, is that an impact at all as long as you're brushing your teeth, or is that's something that has to be concerned when people drinking lattes that have, double sugar shots or whatever?
So that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. When it comes to sugar, bacteria feed on the sugar, and that's what causes the disease or the cavity process to start. But if the enamel is weakened, that's how the bacteria can actually infiltrate the tooth. How does the enamel get weak? From acid. Acid is in every single thing that you drink that's not water. Coffee, Gatorade, energy drinks. Energy drinks are the big thing that I'm seeing right now that a lot of people, kids especially, are doing. They're drinking multiple energy drinks a day. And I have one patient, he's 16 years old, has no enamel on his teeth because all he did was drink Gatorade all the time, switched around in his mouth, and it just ate away all the enamel on his teeth. Gatorade is highly, highly acidic. And I see your face right now because as soon as and I had to do some digging with this kid to figure out what was he doing because there was something off base that was causing this to happen so rapidly. And I had a conversation with him without any of his parents in the room. And he admitted, he was like, I literally just drank Gatorade all the time. And I said, that's what's doing it. And then when I told his parents that, they were like, oh my God, like it was an eye-opening. They were like, I did not know that. And I said, all you have to do is there's a bunch of pH charts you can pull up, and Gatorade and Coke are at the highest, at the top tier for things that are acidic. And the more acid that you introduce to your mouth, the weaker it makes your enamel. And when your enamel is weaker, the bacteria can easily break down that enamel through the sugar and everything that happens. But it's not the sugar, it's the acid. That's the big thing.
Does drinking through a straw, does that help a little bit, or is it still in your mouth even though you're drinking through a straw?
So if you want to drink something, so if you drink something acidic like coffee, I'm drinking coffee right now. If you drinking through a straw, it does help. But when you drink anything that's acidic, you want to drink it rapidly because if you sip it for a long period of time, it takes 30 minutes for the saliva in your mouth to buffer, get everything back to a neutral environment.
Yeah.
So if you're sipping, then if you look at a chart, your enamels, you take a sip. So you bring it down to acidic level. And then as gives it some time, the pH starts to rise. You take another sip, it dips back down. And so you're constantly dipping, dipping, dipping. If you just take a huge gulp or you drink it really, really fast, you're not doing that constant dipping. And that constant dipping is what damages the enamel in your teeth. And then typically I always recommend patients, if they drink a lot of acids or their teeth are already weakened, I'll recommend things like alkaline water. That's one thing that's a little bit more basic, but that's another controversial topic because people are saying that the alkaline water doesn't do good to your gut. And so that's another thing. But alkaline waters will help because it'll bring that environment up to a more basic environment a lot quicker than just a natural saliva.
Interesting. And I think the example that you have with the young child, as far as doing the investigation, I think only in a private practice setting do you have the leeway to do that on a regular basis, to do that level of investigation. Would you agree on that point?
I agree with that 100%. Because you did bring up, we were talking about corporate dentistry. And when I was working in a corporate office, it was about numbers. They wanted numbers. They wanted you to see a certain amount of patients. They wanted you to produce a certain amount from the patients that you saw. And even though that was the philosophy, I still didn't quite succumb to that because in my heart, I didn't get into dentistry to make a lot of money. I got into it to help people. The reward from that can be good financially, but at the end of the day, if you take care of that person, the finances and the reward from that standpoint will come. And so in my heart, I couldn't just sit there and churn patients. And then obviously I have a license that I have to uphold. And if you're churning through patients, then you're not doing the best work at the end of the day. And there's a board that if you do mess something up, you will get reprimands on your license. And like I said, being an African American, I obviously get scrutinized a lot more for things that I do. And if I just slip up or just something happens, it's like, oh, well, he probably didn't know what he was doing anyway, and things like that. So that's why I always hold myself to a high standard in everything that I do.
If you've been inspired to leverage your practice to create financial freedom, please schedule a consultation with Deasil Wealth Management. The legacy you dreamed of is a 15-minute phone call away from becoming a reality.
The more I know, the more money I can make.